Hello, everybody, and welcome to the campus at Bishop Guertin High School. Jason Roby broadcasting live from the Nest for Nashua ETV and the Highlight Guy, combining forces here like the Avengers. We are joined pregame live with Coach Bourgeois of Nashua South. And Coach, thank you for taking the time to meet with us prior to this huge game for your Lady Panthers. Coach, the first game you played these guys 10 days ago, you held them to their lowest point total of the season, 49 points. What's the key in order for you guys to have that success again tonight?
Well, just playing our game. We worked hard on our defense for the time that we had on the floor, but it also helped us to be on an open floor in our gym, so it will be quite the challenge today on a small floor.
That was my next question, Coach. Looking at the game at your place, a much larger facility where you have an option to break the press with a little bit more ease. Does this provide a greater challenge for you in that regard, breaking the vaunted BG press and getting into that transition?
Absolutely, because as soon as they get a turnover, they get one pass and they're already at the rim versus us chasing them down, right? So it also is less space on the floor, so when traps happen, it's tougher to get in open spots. So it'll be a challenge, but a good challenge that we want.
Coach, one of the things that we talked to Coach Brad Craik about is that you have some size. You have Obanello inside. You have some kids that can do some things. Is the goal here to try and get this stack and some of the other tall players for BG, get them in foul trouble?
It's never really a goal to get people in foul trouble other than to play our game. It's been a short season, so we just try to stick with the basics in our fundamentals. And if we do those little things right, I think we're in better shape. And other things will happen like fouls. So
my next question is in regards to, we get to halftime. How do we know the Panthers are in good position at halftime? What should we be seeing in terms of a score or a feel from what's happening in the game? How will you know that you guys are in this thing going into the second half?
If BG's not dictating the tempo, we're in good position. Never mind the score. If we are able to control our tempo and play our game without getting emotional, we are okay.
Coach, a lot of people think that this would be a monumental upset if you were to come out of here tonight with a victory. You have some seniors on your team, 5 seniors to be exact. What's the message that you give to these young ladies tonight as they potentially could be playing their last game? What's the message you're giving to these girls tonight heading into this one?
Win the first possession. Win the first possession, win the first quarter. Focus on one thing at a time. If we focus on the whole game at once, we will lose. We have to focus on one thing at a time.
John Bourgeois, thank you very much for joining us. Wish you guys the best of luck tonight. Congratulations on a great season. Looking forward to watching your girls play out here this evening.
Appreciate it, and thank you for the coverage, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's Coach John Bourgeois, the head man for the Lady Panthers, taking some time out pregame here to talk to us about the keys to the game tonight. And I agree with him. I think that this is a Panther team that, if they can dictate their tempo, obviously Nashua South is going to try and dictate the tempo. We know BG's goal all along here is to dictate the tempo and run fast in transition and so forth. Tom King joining us now live here. Tom, and we just had a chance to talk about to Coach John Bourgeois. We talked about the first game, Tom, that these two teams played. Nashua South held Bishop Guertin to their lowest point total of the year with 49 points. What do you see is the key factor for the Panthers, Tom, heading into this one?
I think there's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for them because this court is much smaller, and that favors the home team. Because what do they like to do, Jason?
They press and they run.
Press and run, press and run, press and run. And that's a tough thing for this Nashua South team to handle. So that game gave them great confidence to come in. And, you know, it's funny. I was running a story the other night about the South matchup with Albert, how it was basically sophomores against seniors, and in the tournament you want seniors.
Right.
Well, then I realized going to this game, it's going to be totally the opposite because the sophomores are a very special, talented group of sophomores that play like seniors. And everything's a first for them. This is their first tournament situation in terms of, you know, a few of them played last year for Guertin in that quarterfinal against Concord that was here, and then the plug got pulled. So they were reserves then. Now they're all regulars. So it'll be interesting to see how they react.
The saying goes, Tom, that nothing is more dangerous than a team with nothing to lose. And I look at this Purple Panther team that's coming in with a win over Alvern. So a 38-24 effort against Alvern, right? They hold them to 24 points. They do a nice job defensively. They have to be riding pretty high coming into this one.
McDonald, Olivia Murray, and Megan Stack. Those three, okay? If they play well, BG wins the way they usually win. If they struggle, South's got a shot.
He is Tom King. I'm Jason Roby. Our executive producer is Pete Johnson. On the moving pictures this evening, we have the highlight guy, Steve and Deb Cody. So we are a team effort here tonight in the city of Nashua. A great one last night. Well, at least if you're a Bishop Guertin fan, Tom. Bishop Guertin winning against Nashua North boys basketball 70-44. Had a chance to talk with Coach Fisher just a little while ago, and our condolences go out to Coach Fisher and his family as we learned that his mother-in-law passed away yesterday.
Oh, no.
And so Coach Fisher was able to coach in that game, and heavy hearts.
And will he coach tomorrow?
With the Fisher family. So that is the question. I did not ask that, but you know, I think the kids rallying around their coach and the family, and our hearts and our thoughts and prayers, condolences go out to Coach Fisher and his family.
You know, Jason, I asked you a question last night and made an observation, and I got the answer after the game. We saw the last athletic performance in Nashua of Curtis Harris Lopez.
I read that article. Very well done, Tom King. A nice job, and we are just about ready here from the court of Bishop Guertin. It is the Kaliga Dome. We like to call it the Nest. There are actually people sitting in the Nest here this evening, Tom. Not many, but a few, as some fans have been allowed in. And we are just about ready to announce the starting lineups for both of these teams. Again, as we mentioned, Nashua South coming off of their first playoff win, a victory over Alvern High School, and to earn this one here tonight across the way in Keene. North is traveling up to Keene to play the Blackbirds. Winner of that game will face the winner of this game here in cluster number 4.
Yeah, North didn't play Guertin that badly when they played them either.
That is
Guertin
true.
had a tough time in Nashua.
That is true.
On the campus of Bishop Guertin High School for this evening's NHIAA Division I tournament game featuring the Nashua High School South Purple Panthers.
We will never drown out the voice of Pete Palladino.
Let's meet this evening's starting lineups. First for the visitors, Nashua South.
We'll meet the Nashua South Purple Panthers here as someone forgot to pay their electric bill.
Number 5,
Morgan Gillis, number 5, starting for the Purple Panthers at guard.
Number 12, Maya Ryu.
Number 12, Maya Ryu, a senior guard.
At guard, senior number 14, Ariana Murray.
Ariana Murray, another senior guard for Coach Bourgeois.
At forward, senior number 15, Juliana Martin.
Juliana Martin, a senior forward, number 15.
And at forward, senior number 23, Aruka.
And Aruka Obanello, she might be the key.
Well, she is, but I think, you know, the thing is she's going to go up against a tough defender in Stack.
Right.
So what, if I'm South, I don't worry about that. You know why? I go right at Stack because
foul trouble.
Bragg has a rule. 2 fouls and a half, you sit in the first half. And he never varies from that.
BG being introduced now, number 1 sophomore Brooke Paquette, starting point guard for the Cardinals.
5'8", sophomore guard, number 11, Olivia Murray.
Number 11, Olivia Murray, the off guard for this Bishop Guertin team.
A 6-foot sophomore at forward, number 15, Megan Stack.
The do-everything individual for this team, Megan Stack.
At guard, a 5'9" sophomore.
All you need to know about how important Stack is
Kaylee McDonald, defensive stalwart. Sorry, Tom, just want to round up the top 5.
All you need to know is to look back at the Bedford game and when Stack had to sit down or how that game changed when she came back in the second half.
Number 30, Caitlin Wheeler, rounds the top 5. And Tom, look no further than that Bedford game.
That's it. That's
where
the one.
Stack had those 2 quick
That's
fouls
the
and they made their hay underneath the hoop. So
right.
While Coach Bourgeois, that's not the key, it is a factor, no question about it. We'll take this time out for the national anthem. We'll be right back after the playing of the anthem. All right, fans, we are back and ready to go. Contrary to popular belief, that was not Tom King singing the anthem. He is standing right here next to me, I assure you. And Tom, we are just about ready here to get this preliminary round underway. Bishop Guertin with some unfinished business from a year ago. We are just about a week shy of when they pulled the plug from this NHIAA season, and to a lady, they all said, you know, we want to make up for what we didn't get to do last year.
Their last tournament game, if I'm not mistaken, was on Saturday, March 7th. So
2 days removed from
2
there.
days removed,
two days from there.
And if they advance tonight and play on, whoever advances tonight and plays on Sunday, that will be a year from their quarterfinal, because it'll be quarterfinals of this Sunday.
Hard to believe. Great to be back just playing any kind of sport, and I know both these coaches are happy just to have the opportunity for their kids, and as an educator, happy to be here calling the action for you. He's Tom King. I'm Jason Roby. We are just about ready. 8 minutes put on the clock here. Purple Panthers will get the possession to start the game. COVID rules in effect, and that ball stolen quickly by Paquette. Back the other way come the Cardinals. Not the start that they wanted, but returning the favor is Morgan Gillis. She fires one, and going into the bleachers to try and save it was Maya Ryu. A good effort there. So 2 quick turnovers. Going to be a feeling out process here early on.
3 turnovers. 3 turnovers.
Yeah, good call. Yeah,
the steal, the throw, and the throw down here.
See, the game is so fast, Tom. I'm behind already.
3 turnovers in 10 seconds. I've never seen that before at the start of a game.
Cardinals will get in their set, and they'll find McDonald underneath, and a good start there for Bishop Guertin. Good ball movement, good finish.
So now the key is right in front of us. How does South work against that Guertin press? They did it okay that time. They got it over the timeline. They got a foul on Guertin.
The cozy confines of the Caliga Dome here could provide some issue for the Purple Panthers. Picking up her first foul, however, is Brooke Paquette. Foul trouble could be an issue if it happens to the bigs of Bishop Guertin. Working the ball around now. Maya Ryu has it, looking for Obanello. Couldn't get it to her, guarded closely there by Paquette. Loses the dribble. Ball thrown into the key. Stack trying to come away with it. And the Panthers get possession back as Gillis went on the floor. Finds the ball back in her hands. Nice matchup there, Tom, between Obanello.
Well, they're trying to get Obanello, but Stack's doing a good job of fronting her.
Wheeler was actually on her that time. So we'll watch that matchup as this game progresses. Paquette now Working at the top of the key, ball whipped around. Murray finds the aforementioned Wheeler in the corner. They get it back to her.
Well, that's a smart move to have Wheeler on her as well, to go between the two so one doesn't get into foul trouble. Wow.
Three-point attempt there by Murray, and she's a key in my opinion, Tom. If she starts hot.
When she plays well along with McDonald and with Stack, I think that's the big three.
Once again, the Panthers handling the pressure. Now they get into their half-court set as driving to the basket was Ryu. She tried to get to Obanello. She comes away with it. Panthers fortunate there to retain possession. Three-point shot taken by Ryu. Rebound by McDonald. She quickly gets the ball up the floor to Wheeler, whips it around to Stack. She loses the handle.
Remember, in that game, it was 12-6 in favor of South to start.
That's right. And Obanello coming away with the rebound. It's not a deep Purple Panther bench, so they'll have to try to stay relatively fresh. It's a nice spin move in the paint by Juliana Martin. Nothing to show for it. Back the other way comes Paquette in the Cards.
She's going all the way.
And challenged in the paint. This is a Panther team that's not going to give you any easy looks.
No, they won't. They're tough inside. Starts with Obanello.
Back the other way. Speaking of Obanello, she's got the ball. Foul line extended, looking for help. Skip pass across the way to Gillis. Gillis will fire it out. And a three-point shot by Murray. Back iron there. Rebound by Wheeler.
Yeah, you'll see that South right now knows that they're limited to the outside. They're going to have to shoot from the outside and then work their way inside if they can convert. Guertin will let them shoot from the outside until they prove they can make it.
Murray again from the outside, in and out, but rebound there. Tough on the glass, and that ball looked like it went off of Obanello's hands. They're going to say it did not.
No, it went off of Stack's, I believe.
So Stack reaching around. We have our first substitute as Maisie Barker will give Paquette a break.
Stack was very careful not to have any contact.
And that's a key, Tom, is they got to stay out of foul trouble early on here.
Well, especially this team. In 2 fouls and a half, you're sitting. And I think it's a great rule. It happened to Obanello the other night.
Steal by McDonald, quickly gathered up by Murray. Back the other way it comes.
She wasn't out for the entire half, but she was out for most of it for Nashua South.
Driving to the hoop now, and good defense, and they're going to get called for the block is Murray. She moved her feet, but she threw the hips into it.
Hey, I thought I got my share of loose balls the other night at South. I don't want them here on the stage.
Tom King, a nice job there, trying to stay away from the ball. Inbounding the ball now. Ariana Murray gets it to Obanello. Obanello well beyond the 3-point
that's not where they want her, believe me.
And Stack reaches in. Obanello falls on the floor. They're going to lose possession.
Yeah, you're right. You don't want her there. You know, a guard has got to come out and say, give it to me, I'll take it, and then she goes inside. Someone's got to go out and help her out. They can't stand around and watch Obanello dribble.
Cardinals quickly come the other way, whip around the perimeter.
They must think they should be up 13 or 14 nothing around with the number of shots that they've missed.
Appears that the Panthers are going to give the outside. Driving to the hoop there was Murray. So clearly the goal here is to establish Murray early on. As she gets fouled going to the hole, she'll shoot too.
You can sense the intensity. Much different than a regular season game.
It is a rivalry, no question, but it is the playoffs. It is win or go home.
That's it, you know. Boy, you hear a pin drop.
Pretty shot there as Murray knocks down the first. And gets the second.
South needs some points, Jason. They need to put something on the board soon.
A 7-0 advantage for BG.
Scoreless for the first 4.
Obanello now, and again, not where you want to see her.
Want to see her dribbling way outside. No one there to help, finally.
They find Morgan Gillis, and
Coach
Bourgeois going to take a 30-second timeout, no doubt about it.
He saw his offense completely disheveled.
I think the big thing there, Tom, is once you get the ball over half court and you've taken care of handling the press, your mindset has to change, and you got to get into your half court sets.
Half court sets, right? You got to get it. In a half court set, she's down low. She's not up top.
There's no need to panic. There's no shot clock in the state of New Hampshire. So set up your offense, work your system, and Find the people that make it go for you. A 7-0 advantage, 3:42 to play here in the first quarter is a different intensity by BG than what we saw in that regular season game, Tom. No question about that. So Nashua South will take the ball out of bounds here. Juliana Martin to do the honors. Bowen will guard the inbound pass. Martin looking for help, gets it into Obanello. Obanello with the handoff. South trying to get something going here offensively. No one within 10 feet of the basket for Nashua South.
I've never seen that before.
Maya Ryu hands the ball up, and if the idea here is to just stall, you still have to try and score some points.
Yeah, I don't think the idea is to stall. I think the idea is try to get some penetration dribbling, and they can't do it. Now they do.
And a double team there, and they're going to say it went off of Maya Ryu as McDonald came over to help Barker. Great pressure defense there in the hip pockets of these Panthers. They keep their feet moving, and they get possession. 7-0, back come the Cardinals. Bowen whips the ball around to McDonald, who finds Barker. Barker looking for a low post, nothing there. McDonald back top of the key. Pressed closely there by Ariana Murray. They find Stack, foul line extended. She'll go with the left, kick it back out. Bowen isn't shy. She launches a three and nails it.
I think they only gave her a 2 on that.
Did they? Okay.
Yep. 9-0, not the start that South wanted. You see, Guertin's much more aggressive right now.
Well done on the press breaker there, and that's where you want to make your hay, Tom. It doesn't go, but that's what South's looking to do. Back the other way comes McDonald in the cards, and that has been their calling card all year long. Find McDonald on the streak, and another turnover. So Barker throws one up and gets it to go. Good English on that one.
And now all of a sudden it starts to get out of hand, Jason. The small court is making a difference for Guertin.
Exactly like Coach Bourgeois said leading into this one.
Yep, the small court, it's a killer if you're a visiting team, and another timeout. He's got to take another timeout. It's 13-0.
13-0, as Tom King mentioned. We are live here from the campus of Bishop Guertin, and a different feel in this one compared to what we saw just 10 days ago over at Nashua South. South having trouble getting into their offensive sets. BG just providing intense pressure, a different intensity, Tom, than I have seen from these girls once this postseason has started. No question about that.
Well, I mean, as Brad Creek said earlier in the season, everything is a first for this team in terms of the sophomores and the young players he's got on this team. It's a great disparity in terms of so many underclassmen, hardly any upperclassmen.
We'll talk in just a moment, the next time out, what Coach Craig's keys to the game were, and we'll check off some boxes, I have a feeling, at the next time out.
I think they've checked off all of them.
Pivoting at the top of the key was Vanessa Reeder. She's having all kinds of problems with Bowen, and we're going to get a jump ball called here. Possession goes to the Cardinals, another turnover. Getting her first action, Molly Smith for the Cardinals, and checking back in, Morgan Gillis for the Panthers.
It's one thing to have talented players, but it's another thing to get talented players to play like this. With the pressure and the intensity and the defense that they play with.
Well, we've seen some great teams not come away winning it all or being in the conversation because there were 5 great individuals. These girls understand their role, Tom. And a good rebound there for the Purple Panthers. She does not have the numbers. Gillis will kick things back out to Murray, and she'll start it off. Back door. Oh! And no foul call there, as I thought.
I heard that hit.
Gillis looked like she was hip checked pretty hard there. Could have been a call, nothing doing. And back the other way, a foul will be called against the Purple Panthers. So 1:14 to play here in the first quarter. The Panthers are still scoreless. Barker gets the ball over to Smith. Smith will find Paquette. She'll up fake, dribble, drive, and she gets fouled going to the hole.
She wanted to launch it, and then decided not to. But, you know, South isn't doing a bad job defensively, Jason.
Right.
It's just that they can't put any points on the board. And
That's right.
And that's just, you know, because when you don't put the points on the board, you can't get set on defense. And that gives Guertin a half a step ahead.
Paquette misses the first one. Murray will check in for McDonald. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Tom. Absolutely right. This is a team that that plays good defense, and they held them to the lowest point total on the year. So they know how to play D.
All right.
South will bring the ball up half court. Nice dribbling there. Finding Murray on the box. Kick back out to Gillis. Gillis hits nothing. Obanello with the offensive board, the all-important rebound. That was one of Coach Creek's keys to the game, was keep the Panthers off the glass. Obanello working against Bowen, and a nice pass from Obanello, dishing it into Ariana Murray. They get their first bucket.
39 seconds left in the period for their first bucket.
But you saw how their first bucket came, Tom, and I think they're going to have to continue to do that.
They're just going to have to get Obanello down low so she can facilitate.
Barker now holding the ball. They whip it around to Paquette, the two-guard system up top. Barker will rotate through, and Paquette will work there defensively and see if we're going to get an offensive foul. No, that one's going to go against Murray on the block. So another foul there. I can't see the fouls on the board
from here,
where we are. We'll take a quick glance at that at the end of the first quarter. Paquette now in the backcourt being pestered there by Murray.
They're going to hold last shot.
8 seconds to go and counting.
And Paquette's going to take it.
Oh, a nice crossover dribble there. And they're going to say on the reach and another foul.
Yes, but was it on the floor or was it in the act?
I have to believe.
It's going to be on the floor.
She's going to the line, Tom, and I don't know if that's a matter. We'll know if it's a 1-and-1 in just a second here. No two shots. They're going to say it was in the act. So Paquette goes to the line for a pair.
Yep.
1 out of 2 so far this evening for Brooke Paquette. 1 out of 3 as Vanessa Reeder will check back in. 2.3 seconds, Coach Craig pulling his team back. Paquette knocks down the second, 50% thus far. Ready to fire it at the buzzer. Don't think it would have come in time anyway, so we come to the end of 1. Your score, Tom, a 15-2 Cardinal advantage. And
that's just exactly what Nashua South did not want to see. They did not want to have to endure that.
We talked earlier about what the keys for Bishop Guertin was coming into this one. Coach Craig's own words, he said, first, we have to stop the easy transition baskets. Check. Number 2, he said, we have to get back in the transition defense. We've got to run. We've got to be able to beat the Panthers back and not allow any easy makes. Check. Number 3, we have to out-rebound, as this is a South team that is good on the glass. We saw Obanello on the first bucket for Nashua South wreak some havoc under there for the Panthers, but other than that, it's been all Bishop Guertin on the glass. I'm going to give that a check. And the last point, stay out of foul trouble. Check. So all 4 boxes have been checked, and as a result, a 15-2 Cardinal advantage as we're ready to start the second quarter of play. Jason Roby with Tom King here for Nashua ETV. Our executive producer is Pete Johnson. Working the camera right now is Steve and Deb Cody from the Highlight Guy. Great to join forces with them as we come to you live. Meanwhile, Nashua North and Keene have tipped off. We'll try and get you some scores from that one. Being played in Blackbird country. Vanessa Reeder now top of the key, marked off by Bowen. Obanello now, who's going to work against Smith. She lost the handle. Back the other way comes Paquette. And she'll throw the runner, and off the glass goes Paquette. And she's
a little stunned.
Slow to get up. Good to see that she's okay. She's having a good first quarter. Here is Paquette. Nearly another steal is running through the paint, and they're going to get called for a carry there. It was a good look by Maya Ryu, but she kind of went baseline under the hoop, was looking for a reverse layup, got called for the carry. We'll get a trio of Cardinals checking in now as McDonald, Stack,
fresh
and
troops.
Wheeler come back in. And that's the point, Tom, is that they can just keep coming at you in waves, and the 3 they bring in are as good as the 3 that just came off. Paquette now slowly bringing the ball up the floor. We'll see a half-court set here from the Cards. They whip the ball around. Barker back to Paquette. She's feeling it, and Yahtzee, a 3-point shot for Paquette. And they'll call timeout and talk about it, Tom.
Oh, boy. This is...
it's a different level of intensity. And
hell hath no fury like the Cardinal team scorned, and I think they felt scorned after that night. I don't think, Brad Creek was too happy about it. So when that happens, you know that they're going to, really drill it during practice and practice hard and get in there. Just the same way the BG boys team was last night, Jason, when they played North. I mean, I really, the best thing that happened to them was losing that game in overtime. Didn't count, didn't matter for anything, but it put in their mind what they had to do to win the game in a rematch.
It was a BG team that was dialed in, and they were not going to feel that again.
Completely focused. They were not going to be tentative again in the fourth quarter or the third quarter or even the first or second quarter. They were going to go at it the entire night, and that was the only way they were going to play.
Well, it's a talented group too, Tom, and you could see that when they would bring their reserves in, they were a senior-laden group. They were big, they were strong, and I think Nashua North may have run out of a little bit of gas there, couldn't produce a lot of offense as a result of, the Cardinals playing great defense, and their lady counterparts here tonight are doing the same, holding the Panthers 2 points. However, there's a 2-on-1 break now, as quickly getting back on defense was Paquette. I think they're going to call her on the reach-in.
Look at that. That's incredible.
So there's the transition defense that Coach Craig talked about. I thought Paquette got back into the picture, but they said she reached around and in on Obanello.
Yeah, they called it.
So Murray will give Paquette a break as the Panthers run their play under the hoop. And a nice design there as Martin came away with it. She dribbles into the elbow, finds Obanello baseline. Too strong there. McDonald on the rebound, gets it to Barker, and up the left side, back the Cardinals come. Barker now directing traffic. Bounce pass into Stack at the right elbow. Stack will dribble in and kick out there. Wheeler takes a little hop step and airballs that one.
Yeah, wide open, and had a little time to think, and then just had too much energy on it.
Martin coming back the other way.
But I'll tell you one thing next time out, what I'm seeing here. Okay, what I'm seeing. Every time South tries dribble penetration on either side, right or left, they stop. They can't do it, or they feel they can't do it. They should continue and just challenge BG. Get to the foul line.
And that was kind of the boys' mantra last night, right, Tom? They challenged.
Exactly.
They drove to the hoop.
Right.
And a great drive there, and a block shot by McDonald. Back the other way comes Barker.
But she's still challenged.
And a three-point opportunity here for Caitlin Wheeler. A nice pass from Maisie Barker, and it all started with the block shot and outlet pass from Kaylee McDonald. It looked like Myra Ryu had an easy trip through the lane, and McDonald had other ideas.
Well, I mean, that's why they're not dribble penetrating, because they're afraid of plays like that. But I still like the challenge. She went right up to the basket. You could have gotten a foul called on that. You take your chances with the whistles, and you see.
Wheeler missed the and-one opportunity.
Because they're not being left open on the perimeter, Jason. So.
And you're seeing the fresh legs of these Cardinals as they're just running around like crazy. Obanello with the rebound goes baseline under the hoop, and a nice make there by Obanello. She dribbled under the hoop, went to the opposite side, and able to get it in.
She did it all by herself. All by herself. No pass, no nothing.
Stack on the block. Kicks it back out to Barker, who'll dribble in. And Obanello jumped out on Stack and gave a easy lane for Barker, but she couldn't get it to go. Martin now will whip it back to Obanello. Obanello, top of the key, working against Stack, loses her dribble. And that ball knocked out of bounds by Barker.
Still south ball, but still everything contested. Everything contested. And you know what? Brad is going to keep them doing this the entire game because just...
Well, why not? You've got a deep bench. Hannah Lynch getting her first action.
Well, the thing is he wants to keep that intensity level with a young team.
Yeah.
Keep that intensity level because it gets harder the next game, and it gets harder the game after that.
Right. That's right.
And then, Bedford awaits.
This just in from Keene. We have a 21-12 lead for Nashua North as they're taking on the Keene Blackbirds. So 21-12 North.
They could be the next. They could be the next team here at the Coligadome if they win that game.
Ball's on the floor, rolling around, and back the other way come the Panthers. They don't have the numbers. We'll see what they do with it. Everything being contested. That ball nearly stolen there by Lynch. Ryu comes into the paint. 3 Cardinals converge.
Yeah, what was it happening?
It's almost like the Cardinals are playing with 8 kids on the floor.
It's
amazing.
Like that? I know it. Stack. Oh my
God.
Stack
with the left hand, Tom.
Against a double team with the left hand, and then she comes back on defense and knocks it away. Oh my goodness. They're ferocious.
And it's scary, Tom.
They're ferocious.
Groups of sophomores,
How
right?
do you do that? How do you do that? How do you get that mindset with a young team like this? You know why the seniors did it last year. They played that way for 2, 3, 4 years. But these kids, how do they develop that?
One of the early questions is Lynch is going to go to the line for 2. One of the early questions I asked in an interview, Tom, and I think it may have been Megan Sullivan, who's the only senior on this Bishop Guertin team. I said, what did you take from that group last year that kind of catapulted you into where you are now? And she said, we've got to work hard every day in practice. There's a standard here that we have to live up to, and you don't want to be that first group to not live up to that standard. And these girls are just taking it and running with it.
I'll tell you how their practices are getting to be known around the area. Bob Murphy from Hollis Brookline, who lost to this team by 40 points in a game, a couple of weeks later came to a BG practice to watch it. He's got a game tonight against Milford.
Oh, driving to the hoop there. Barker sliding over on the baseline to help. She may have got a piece of that. Back the other way comes Wheeler in the Cards.
It's just they turn defense into offense. Nobody does it better.
2-on-1 opportunity here is back the other way. Crossover dribble in the lane. Couldn't get it to go. Was Gillis.
Yeah, Gillis has no fear. She's a freshman. She has no fear. She'll go right at it.
They get it out to Stack. Guarded by Obanello, right side, beyond the three-point line, back to Lynch.
Gillis will be the centerpiece next season.
They get the ball into Stack, back out.
Nice
3-point shot. Couldn't get it to go. Was Hannah Lynch.
See,
offensive board.
If you're South, that can't happen. You've got to remember to box out.
Just doing a great job on the boards is this Bishop Guertin team, and throwing one up from beyond Nashua's Maya Ryu, couldn't get it to go.
The fundamentals should never leave you despite the scoreboard.
Right.
And unfortunately they do.
A lot of times, Tom, that's a hard thing to tell, a high school kid, it's
no, exactly.
28-4, 3:29 to go here in the first half. Lynch will drive into the paint, throw the floater, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound there by Wheeler.
Ooh.
And McDonald's going to get called for the reach-in as Ryu came away with that rebound. But, getting on the glass is this Bishop Guertin team, and they don't have anything to show for it there, but they're making work underneath the boards, no question about it.
28-4, 3:14 to play here in the first half.
Jazz Escribano getting her first action, number 10 for the Purple Panthers, as Obanello gets a nice pass into the paint. She'll take it in and finish it strong against Molly Smith, so a good look there by Obanello. That ball airmailed out, and possession will be kept.
Brad doesn't want to see that, all right, obviously.
Right.
Because what he's thinking is in another 10 days, Isabella King may do the same thing.
Right.
For Bedford, and he doesn't want to see that.
Barker now will get the ball in the backcourt. She works against Escribano.
So if they stop it here, that means they'll make the attempt and do a good job of probably stopping it then.
And good challenge there defensively by Obanello against Wheeler. Back the other way come the Panthers. 3-point shot from the outside, front iron, Escribano. Rebound taken by Molly Smith. She's gonna get called for the travel. As checking back in is Maddie Bowen, number 34. She'll give Wheeler a break.
Basically, it looks right now like McDonald is the only starter on the floor.
Ryu having trouble getting the ball in, finds Escribano. That ball knocked out. And fortunately for the Panthers, they will keep possession. 2:30 to go here in the first half, a 28-6 Bishop Guertin advantage. Got to get the ball in before 5 seconds. They do. Escribano gets it out well beyond the three-point arc. Able to find Martin. Martin, right-hand dribble, top of the key. Gets a nice pick from Obanello. They rotate the ball nicely and can't get the shooter's touch. McDonald doing great work on the boards here in this first half.
Ball was just out of the reach of Obanello. She reached for it, just couldn't quite get it.
McDonald gets the green light from downtown, and she puts it in. McDonald gets rewarded with the hustle and the defense. And a 2-on-1, Obanello all alone underneath. So the one time the transition defense did not get back.
And that does not make Brad Creek happy.
McDonald feeling it, can't get it to go. Offensive rebound there, cleaning up the glass.
That will.
Hannah Lynch. 1:38 to go with 33-8 advantage for the Cardinals. And Maisie Barker picking pockets on the other side of things. She goes up and in. Barker gets to the dance. Obanello now gets the ball off. A good look there by Gillis, in and out, but almost a nice rebound there. Bowen comes away with it, a 2-on-1, and the Panthers are running out of gas, Tom.
They are.
It is a team, Tom, when you look at it, 10 kids on that bench, or 10 kids on the team rather, so 5 kids on the bench.
South has put in some players that haven't played a whole lot in their rotation right now, just to keep people fresh. BG 3-0 over
Keene in girls hockey. You just heard it there.
In what period? In the first period or
first period?
Okay, yep.
BG 3-0 over Keene. We saw, of course, BG play that game, Tom, and come from behind. And
that'll be their last game at Cyclones. After that, they go up to Everett, and then the finals at Dover Ice.
An undefeated Hanover team at the time, right, Tom?
And I have it. Yeah, they beat them there.
Yep.
They beat them that day, and it was a game of the year. It was a great game.
It was a come-from-behind game. I watched that on Nashua ETV. If you get a chance to watch the replay, please do.
I had seen them do it earlier in the season when they played Lebanon, and they came back to beat Lebanon.
Some interesting penalty calls there in the late moments of that one.
Boy, Hanover just fell apart.
Yeah.
They lost their composure.
Yep.
Those two teams will probably meet again at Dover Ice a week from tomorrow.
Another steal there by Barker. Is back the other way comes Lynch and the Cardinals rather. McDonald now, 55 seconds in counting. We'll see what the Cardinals try to do with it here. Bowen will whip it around, find Molly Smith on the baseline. The runner can't get it to go.
Weak side
Cleans
rebound.
up her own mess. Can't get to go, but she'll get 2 free throws.
Weak side rebound, no one there because everybody converged on the ball. And once the shot went up, that area was clear. And
well, there was no box out because she took the initial shot.
There was nobody. There was not a purple jersey in sight.
Back iron, 0 for 1 for Molly Smith, her first free throw attempt. Second one coming up here. We'll talk to Coach Brad Craik at the half to get his thoughts, and that one just off to the right, so she misses both.
No offense, but I hope he saves his real good stuff for me after the game.
Bowen to take the ball out underneath as the Cardinals will get possession back, and nobody guarding the perimeter. A wide open look, too much mustard on that hot dog.
That may be why.
Back the other way come the Purple Panthers. Pestered there by McDonald. The runner in the lane. Fade away, and a pretty shot by Maya Ryu.
Yeah,
she gets it to go.
Ryu's a good offensive player.
McDonald will skip it around to find Molly Smith, and Barker will slow things down.
She's got some talent. I believe she's going to play at Keene next year.
And I think we have an injury timeout, Tom. We don't like to see this.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's got to be a cramp.
Well, let's hope that
that's
the case.
There was nobody near her, and she wasn't moving. Yeah, it's a cramp. They're not even doing it. They're not even.
She'll get a.
Yeah, they're not even checking anything. She just has a cramp.
She'll get a round of applause here and take a seat. Will Escribino, good to see her leave on her own power. Looks like Bailey Carroll will come in, and also Elizabeth DeRusha.
Now DeRusha, she hasn't played much in this game.
No, she has not been in.
And she's usually one of their first people off the bench because she can shoot.
That's right. Barker went up for it. McDonald, and another rebound by Kaylee McDonald. Just doing work at the buzzer. Yahtzee! Maisie Barker from downtown gets it to go at the buzzer.
That's just insult to injury, isn't it?
A 40-10 Guertin lead as we head into halftime, a 30-point advantage for the Cardinals. And I'll tell you, Tom, I don't know that it matters who they would be playing in here today because this is a different look and a different intensity than I have seen all season from this Cardinal team. So we'll hopefully get Coach Craik over here to take a few moments to talk with us. Meanwhile.
But the theme was set. I mean, when you hold a team scoreless for the first 7:21 of a quarter,
right?
And you walk out, off the court with a 15-2 lead, the trend is set.
A 27-18 Nashua North lead at halftime over Keene. So we'll keep a close eye on that one as head man Brad Craik comes over to talk with us.
Save your good stuff for me later on, Brad, okay?
Coach, thank you for taking the time to join us. Well, what do you like so far that you're seeing here, aside from the score, Coach?
I just like our intensity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the kids were really ready to go, particularly on the defensive side of the floor. We talked about it, pregame is just not giving up anything easy. And I think so far, so good. We've made everything pretty hard for them. Yeah. We've gotten back in transition, but we've been able to keep the pace of the game up. And then the kids are doing a great job just defending with real discipline and some toughness in the half court. And, we're attacking them pretty good, offensively. We've hit some shots. That always makes things a little easier.
Coach, the four things you talked about at the beginning of the game, take away the easy baskets, get back on transition defense, rebound, get on the glass, and stay out of foul trouble. You've checked all four boxes, and as a result, the result is the score that you're seeing right now, a 40-10 BG advantage.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Now the key obviously is, can we sustain that level of energy and execution into the second half? And I think we can. I think the kids are, we had a great week of practice, and I think they recognize, what time of year it is, and they're ready to go.
Coach, I got to ask you one more question. You mentioned it and stole the words right out of my mouth. Was the intensity that I'm seeing here is a lot different than what I've seen in the last few games from your girls. Is that something that you talked about? Is that a switch that was just turned on? Is this a different intensity that we've seen?
Well, it's definitely a different intensity. I wish that we have been able to sustain that intensity all year long, and particularly in the last few weeks. But most of these kids were really young, but most of these kids have been around the program now for the better part of 2 years, so they get what it means to start thinking about playing playoff basketball and what that means. And I'm just very pleased with look. I've said to anybody that's ever asked me is we'll score. We'll score. We'll be okay scoring the ball. The key thing for us is can we continue to really defend, and I think that was probably our best defensive half of the year so far.
Coach, message to the girls as you go in at halftime. What's the one or two things you're going to point out to them that you're going to ask from them?
Just keep doing the same thing. Keep doing the same thing. I think that's as good as we've been, start to finish in a half. And I think, again, the big thing is just we're young, so you have a tendency to look at the score a little bit and say, all right, we're good to go. But crazy things happen in playoff basketball. So can we come out and have a good first good first half of the third quarter, and just kind of keep the foot down on the gas here a little bit.
Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Let you get to the troops, and best of luck in the second half.
Just remember all those words because you got to give them to me later on.
I will. And hey, guys, quick shout out to Coach Buskey and her crew at Pinkerton.
Yeah, that's
you
a
know,
tough.
yeah.
That was a tough. That's a tough blow to the
Yeah,
tournament.
it's brutal,
Yep.
and there's a lot. We respect everybody, but we've really grown fond of her and her kids and that program. They do the things the right way, right way over there, and just a shout out to her and her kids, and we're thinking about you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Coach Craik, and a class organization over there at Pinkerton Academy. We had the pleasure of calling that game, Tom, with the highlight guy. We watched Coach Buskey's team battle this Bishop
I
Guertin
was there. I
Cardinal
was
team.
there.
You were there,
Yeah,
and
that was just one of those games where, again, the big floor kind of helped Pinkerton a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the little floor here is hurting Nashua South.
You definitely hate to see a season end. You'd rather see a season end if it's going to end on the scoreboard rather than, a COVID issue or anything like that.
But you knew it was
eventually,
going to happen to
yeah.
somebody. It happened in the fall, right before a championship soccer game. Merrimack Valley had to forfeit their final in the Division II final to Milford.
Milford is the state champs in
exactly.
soccer. Not the way they would have wanted to win that.
No, definitely not the
certainly.
way they would have wanted. You know it's going to happen some point, the way this thing is.
And it just seems that Pinkerton has been snake bit more than anybody else, right? A few times.
It's got to be the size.
The size,
it's
the population.
Biggest school.
Yeah.
It's the biggest school, plus
Yeah.
they come from a lot of different parts.
There's definitely a lot of towns that are coming in
there's
feeding
some
that.
towns feeding them, and it's different, and it's tough. It's a tough thing to have to deal with.
Well, we are at halftime here, and we are playing basketball. There's 5 minutes to go before the start of the second half. We want to take this moment to, again, thank the highlight guy, Steve and Deb Cody, as well as Nashua ETV, our executive producers, Pete Johnson. I'm Jason Roby, along with Tom King. We're going to take a few-minute break here, and we'll be back with second half action in just a moment. Welcome back to the Nest here on the campus of Bishop Guertin. Jason Roby along with Tom King calling the action for you. A 40-10 Bishop Guertin advantage over Nashua South as we get ready to start the second half. And Tom, we had that conversation with Coach Brad Craik going into the half. He's real pleased with the intensity that he's seeing from his team early on.
Well, that was the thing. We talked about it. We said it, the intensity, the defense, the whole thing. It's just the names change, but the game remains the same. The type, the style of game, the style, the result, the whole bit. And this was, but it was an interesting comment at halftime by Brad when he said, "Best defensive half of the year." And I'd have to agree with him. I mean, I've done a few of their games this year. I didn't see anything like this.
Well, the point I want to
saw
bring
close, but not quite.
The point I want to make, Tom, is this is a Nashua South team that held Bishop Guertin to 49 points just 10 days ago.
Now it's
Cardinals are 9 points shy of that.
Right.
And we haven't started the third quarter yet. We're ready to bring you the action.
And don't think that game was talked about and what they did and everything else is talked about over and over and over again. But again, the venue is also a
venue
key.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Court size is definitely a factor, but the intensity has been ratcheted up here.
Right, you got to match that intensity. And the thing is, it's easier to have that intensity in a small area. You get on a big court, you've got to have the legs to keep that intensity up. You see what I mean?
Absolutely
so
correct. The bench
that's,
doesn't go very deep for
no.
Nashua South. We'll see how quickly they get into it as the third quarter begins, and we are underway here.
Look at Kaylee McDonald's face right now as she's guarding Murray.
Well, she could stay on the floor the whole time and play like that.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about
it. She has an endless supply of energy. A good look there from the top of the key. Couldn't get it to go. Is Juliana Martin. And on the boards is Obanello.
Yeah, great rebound by Obanello. You're not going to contain Obanello all game. I mean, she's going to get her share of rebounds and her share of points in the paint.
She's going to go to the line for a pair. Concord up 52-28 over Trinity. Concord was one of those teams, Tom, that was talked about in the early going as a potential Final Four team.
Yeah, but they've got to get out of Bedford's area. Aren't they in Bedford's?
I believe that could be the case. And Pinkerton,
so.
We'll talk a little bit more about that as well.
They would have been a Final Four team, in my mind. They would have been the semis. They would have emerged from that region. Now it's either going to be Wyndham or Londonderry, I would imagine.
Obanello knocks down a pair of free throws, 40-12 now. The Panthers will fall back on defense.
And that's the region that BG would play in the semis. And I know where the semis are.
Tom King found some information. We'll let him talk about that in just a moment. His stack goes up with the left hand. A nice rebound there by the Purple Panthers as Martin comes back the other way.
You're going to Sanborn.
Sanborn High School, a brand new high school. Don't know if you've been in there yet, Tom, but it's a beautiful facility.
No, I haven't been.
Obanello cleaning up, and A good start here.
Brad Creek's going to call timeout. He doesn't want Obanello to camp out down low and get those kinds of points.
So Obanello in the early going has 4 quick points as 47 seconds have elapsed here in the third quarter. And we have been told that we, depending on how things end here, we will have a post-game interview. We're going to try and get Matty Bowen, but if things don't get better here for the Cards real quick, and I'm not talking about the win-loss standpoint, there will be no interview. Coach Craig has pulled that off the table when he has been displeased with a team effort. So we'll see how that timeout affects this next possession for Bishop Guertin. Not so much offensively, but when they go back on the defensive
Let's see,
end.
was that after the South game?
No, it was not.
What game
it was
was it?
here, and you would ask me.
Yeah, I remember that.
I have to dig into my scorebook here. And a nice up and in there. What a great move by Stack. She was pestered by Obanello. Steal, back the other way comes Wheeler. She'll bring it in the paint, and it looks like Martin's going to get called for the hack on Wheeler. Wheeler will get a pair of free throws here.
You know, one thing we didn't mention that BG also has is got a little size, Jason.
They have
you
some.
know,
They
even
have
their
some
guards
size.
have some height.
Yeah.
You know, they've got some size. And you know what? They're only sophomores. They're going to grow a little bit.
That's a little bit scary, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it?
scary. This is
right.
This is a well-oiled machine, and we call them sophomores, but at this point in the year, almost juniors. And nice job by the Purple Panthers, and ball deflected back, and a nice dish underneath to Obanello. She'll pivot on that left foot. Ball gets picked, and Paquette comes away with it.
There was she was either going to get a travel call or she was going to turn it over. No one came over. No one came over to help her.
She had her dribble live, and she could have used it. She didn't.
No one came over. Someone had to come over to her.
Wheeler to Paquette. Paquette back over to Murray. Murray, they'll reverse the floor again. McDonald in the corner, and they'll just fire it around. Front rim there, but guess who with the rebound? McDonald doing the dirty work. McDonald whip it back around to Murray. She'll ball fake it, take it in. Thought there was a travel there, nothing called. Back the other way comes Martin.
How do you get from panel over here to the panel over there?
The referee may have been blocked, and Obanello says, no soup for you! As Stack went up with the block, but there's going to be a foul call, so Obanello is going to go to the line.
I bet Stack thought she had that clean. Yeah, that was definitely a travel by Murray. She took a little jog from one side to the other.
We have a higher advantage point here, Tom. And
I love taking photos. I love calling a game from here. I love taking photos from here.
Yep.
And this is one of the best views around. Alvin, I like their stage too, although their stage is a little dark. It's not as bright. This is a perfect place.
Yeah, you're protected too, Tom, up here a little bit, huh?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Obanello misses both of those free throws as Paquette will bring the ball around. Find McDonald. She'll make sure she's behind the three-point line. Too much on that as back the other way come Murray and the Panthers.
Yeah.
She'll pull it out. They'll get it to Ryu. She'll dribble into the corner. Go baseline, gets help there from Stack. They reverse it. A nice runner in the paint by Gillis. Doesn't go, and rebound to Paquette. And gets it up to Stack. Stack quickly gets it into the corner to Wheeler. Good passing by the Cardinals as Paquette going to set things up. Find Murray in the corner.
Yep.
Back to Paquette. Nice three-person game there. Good look by Wheeler from the outside. Misses it. Stack cleans it up and gets fouled. She'll go to the line for two. Obanello gets her on the arm.
It's a matchup that I enjoy watching, Obanello and Stack, because they're both good and they're both intense.
Good ball movement by BG in the early going of that possession. They reversed the floor quickly, got it underneath to Stack, who had a good look. Obanello challenged it. Stack will hit the first.
What's this team going to be like 2 years from now? It's good. Oh my God.
I asked Coach Craig that. We'll talk a little bit about that later. Stack gets both of them. 4:59 to go.
I'll tell you what, though, Jason. It will be a tough matchup in a rematch with Bedford if that's how
no
it
question.
turns out.
No, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
McDonald will fire from range and knock it down.
Bang.
She is a very dangerous player.
Oh, she sure is. And I think her intensity sets a tone for this team. You know that?
Back the other way. Speaking of which, she'll step behind the three again.
Yep,
They're going to say she took steps.
Yep. Yeah.
As checking into the game will be Vanessa Reeder.
She probably would have been better off just driving the basket.
Now, Tom, I'll give you a name from the past. Keith Reeder. Do you remember Keith Reeder from Nashua High School back in?
Yes, I do remember the name.
I believe that is his daughter, Vanessa. I played in the Shrine Game with Keith Reeder back in 1991, 110 years ago.
That's okay.
Juliana Martin will get it to Reeder. Reeder will miss, but the offensive board gathered there by Ryu.
That's okay. I got you even better. Bob Guidabone, who we see every spring and fall.
Oh, sure.
I interviewed him for a feature the week before the 1986 Shrine Game.
There you go.
35 years ago, 2 days ago, Jason, is when I started at the Telegraph.
Now, was that written on stone back then, Tom, or was that paper?
Actually, we just did
papyrus. What?
We it was actually, believe it or not, it was voice to text, but the text didn't really hear it. Boy, that was something else. Boy, those days. Wow.
And I stand corrected. Reeder was from Londonderry. Obviously, his daughter's from Nashua South.
Right,
Keith Reeder played for that Londonderry team.
Yep.
And that escaped me momentarily. But yes, Keith is a Londonderry kid. Moved to Nashua.
Well, here's the other thing. I'll tell you after this the next time they have a timeout, or the ball goes out of bounds.
I thank Ray DeRusha for getting me that information. I
saw Ray play too.
Yeah, great athlete, Ray DeRusha, by the way. Great hands. Played some adult softball league with him. He played third base.
Yep.
Very athletic.
Your call on the Cardinals, 5 seconds?
5 second.
Wow, I didn't think so.
I believe it was either a 5 or a 3 second violation in the key. I'm not sure which one it was, but regardless.
But Isabella King.
Yes.
I covered her father, Ronnie King, at Londonderry. He was a great center. He was really good. Good high school basketball player.
Molly Smith pestered there by Obanello. Crossover, dribble, Paquette, top of the key, guarded closely by Ryu. They get the ball over to McDonald. And back to Paquette. Bounce pass, McDonald in the corner. Back to Paquette. Barker now, her first action of the second half. Bowen, strong move. They're going to call it on the floor. She goes up with a nice left-hand shot. But they're going to say that one was on the floor, so it'll be a possession foul. 49-15 now. Bowen thought about it and quickly got it back out, and they'll set up their offense. Paquette now, top of the key, guarded closely by Ryu. She'll cross over, dribble, bring it over towards the bench and hand it off.
Yeah, they're moving further out now, trying to get a pick and roll, maybe a play down low. Here's the drive, right?
Barker will kick it out. There's Paquette.
The
runner in the lane, no one on the backside, but cleaning up her own mess. And
she lost it out of bounds.
Couldn't get control of it. Good effort there as Morgan Gillis will check back in
again
and give Reeder a break.
The offense is never an issue with Brad Creek.
Right.
It's the defense.
And
in fact, I remember 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years, I think it was 3 years ago, at Manchester Memorial on a Sunday afternoon game, and I'll tell you right after this.
Molly Smith will slow things down, find Barker. Barker whips it around to Paquette. Paquette surveys the scene and finds Bowen. Back to Barker. Coach Craig imploring his Lady Cardinals to move, not get complacent. Move your feet, get open. That ball deflected, good hands by Ariana Murray.
He called a timeout at Manchester Memorial. It was a matinee, a Sunday matinee in February. And I had been in the Super Bowl like 3 or 4 days earlier. And so he calls a time, or actually a week earlier. So he called a timeout. And he's up 15. They're up 15, 16 points in the third quarter. But he saw a trend developing. And I'll tell you the rest of it in a second.
Barker finds great mauls of fire. She'll whip it around top of the key. They throw it around the key effortlessly. Stack finding Bowen underneath. She lost the handle, rather
But
not
drew the
Bowen,
foul.
but Molly Smith went up. She gets fouled.
Do the foul. Say never, always take an inside shot because you're going to get, you're either going to make a layup, you're going to get fouled, or you get blocked. So two of the things would be good. But he said to them in the timeout, and I was near it, and he said, okay. He said, which one of you guys is going to want to sit out because you're not defending? You don't play defense, you're sitting. And he didn't care. And this was that group that followed all the way through.
Right.
He didn't care about the offense. Play defense.
Well, that's setting the trend that you want to see, and that story transcends, and it goes.
Well, I mean, the second guy that Brad called.
Nice move, Tom, by Morgan Gillis. Yeah. Pretty play there.
Yeah, and she's got some talent. I think Morgan Gillis will blossom in the next couple of years.
49-17 advantage for Guertin. 1:36 to play here in the third. Barker goes under, can't get it to go. It's going to go off her hands.
The second person that Brad Creek called when he got the job was John Fagula.
And that was going to be my question to you, Tom.
Right. And what did John Fagula tell him?
Yeah.
Defend.
And the press. The press was a John Fagula staple.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So you press and defend. That'll turn into your offense.
Juliana Martin gets the ball back to Ryu. That defense extended. Looks like they're trying to get some kind of a trap. Stack back and gets the interception. Comes the other way. Has her pocket pick. And good hustle there. Stayed in bounds.
That's a great play by Ariana Murray.
A great effort by Murray.
Play.
We'll see if it turns into points as they reward Murray with the hustle, and they can't get it to go. Looked good from here.
Yeah, sure did.
Barker back the other way now. And tripped in the lane. Ball finds its way into Stack's hands. From range, long distance style was Lynch. Stack cleaned it up. 46 seconds to go. 51-17 Guertin advantage. Gillis now. The trap occurring on the baseline and popping out will be Stack as she changes places with Lynch, and a nice job there by the defense. Back the other way, a 3-on-2. And a reach in there as Paquette was going the distance. Reach and foul there. We'll see who they call it on.
There was no question. Paquette wasn't stopping.
Foul called there by Juliana Martin. Bailey Carroll checking back in. Paquette will stop and pop from the elbow and make a nice shot there.
Worked out. Just took a few more seconds, right?
And speaking of seconds, we have 20 of them left here in the third quarter. Stack with another near interception on Obanello. Nice battle there. What a bounce pass to Maisie Barker.
Pass by Stack. That was fantastic.
Stack to Barker. What a pretty play. 4 seconds. They'll get the last shot here. Fired from distance. Murray back rims it. Almost a three-point shot from just beyond the half point.
That's the kind of play, though, for Guertin that you want to end a quarter with, because it was defense turning into offense. But I'll tell you one thing. Stack got lucky. She got away with a foul. She bodied Obanello.
Yeah, no question there. 55-17 as we head into the fourth frame. And, that was a situation where Coach Craig, not happy with the defensive effort at the early going of that third quarter, called a quick timeout, and things changed.
Right.
And you wonder, Tom, and I'll bring this up to you, and you know what? It's okay to have these conversations. It doesn't affect us in any way, shape, or form. But I asked Coach Craig at the beginning of the year, Coach Fagula's teams, especially that national title team in 1987, that is the talk of girls basketball in the state. No matter what happens and what school does it, that will always be regarded around the state and in New England and nationally as one of the greatest teams of all time.
Phenomenal.
Is Coach Craig's objective here, maybe long-term, to kind of be in that conversation maybe in 2 years?
I would think so. I mean, I would think that but they play a lot of regional teams. And the reason they do that isn't so much for recognition, it's to get better.
To get better. But they want to be in that conversation. You don't go down to Florida if you're not trying to.
Right. And their eyes were opened up when they went down to Florida.
Sure.
And saw. I mean, it's a different world today.
It is.
It really is.
Well, it was all hypothetical. Now teams are traveling, and you really do get to tell.
Right.
I mean, you never know what would a Nashua team have done against a team out in California back in 1987.
You know, the thing that John's teams did was they went to New York City and played in the Christ the King tournament at Christmas time. Just the way that this team did.
Fired from the outside,
Wow.
Stack cleans
Well,
it up.
you know how she did that length. That's
Yeah.
what length gives you, Jason.
Not to mention, she knows where the rebounds are going. She has a nose for that ball.
No kidding.
And fired from the outside, and a pretty shot there by Juliana Martin. That's her first bucket of the game, Tom.
Yep.
Coming back the other way in transition was Olivia Murray, not to be outdone.
Turning out to be a racehorse game all of a sudden.
A 59-20 advantage for Bishop Guertin. We have a score to report to you at the end of 3 in Keene. We'll get to that in just a second.
You're gonna
Keep you on the edge of your
gonna
seat.
keep me in suspense,
Now we'll
aren't
do
you?
it 34-26. Nashua North advantage at the end of 3. So the winner of that game will get, for all intents and purposes, the Bishop Guertin team here
on Sunday.
So a rare Sunday game. And if I'm not mistaken, Tom, a Sunday was when they played Bedford. Is that correct?
Yes, it was.
That was a Sunday as well. So
Sunday afternoon.
again, the Pinkerton is out because of a COVID situation. So unfortunate for those young ladies.
Yeah, that wouldn't affect the regional because they're in the other region.
Right. No,
it would be a semifinal opponent. But from what I understand, Sanborn was asked if they would host the semis and the finals, and they said yes. So
we have some subs checking in now for both teams. Looks like Coach Craig emptying the bench here. Obviously want to avoid any kind of the injury bug that could happen. But certainly these are good players. I've been singing Daro Cheng's praises all year long when I've seen her play, and the only senior on the team, Charlotte Sullivan, we interviewed her earlier in the year, as well as number 10, Madeline Maloney for BG. And a nice make there by Juliana Martin. She's got 5 quick points here in the 4th. So now they will work the ball around the perimeter. Bowen will work against Gillis, drive it out. They'll find Chang. She's at the elbow extended. She'll hand it off. A little 3-person weave going as Maloney now looks for help. Finds Sullivan underneath. And a good pass there. They're going to say travel, I believe, before the fact. Checking back in now for the Purple Panthers, number 33, Elizabeth DeRusha. She will give Maya Ryu a break. DeRusha will toss the ball back to Murray, and here come the Purple Panthers trying to cut in to that large lead of Bishop Guertin. Throwing the ball up in the paint was Murray. Rebound there by DeRusha, and this is not what we want to see here, Tom.
Who do we have down?
And not a good, no time is a good time for an injury, but it's good to see her getting up and on her own power. Yep. It looks like Maloney, maybe a shot to the face. There is some blood on the floor, I believe, so they'll have to potentially clean that up, and the trainers for the Guertin staff are quickly on that. But Maloney got up on her in her own power and walked into the back. Not sure if she took a shot to the face or what happened. Could have been a shoulder. So hopefully she's doing okay. They'll take a look, and as soon as we know, you'll know on the health of Madeline Maloney, number 10 for the Cardinals.
59-22, 5:31 to play in the basketball game. 5:31 left pretty much in Nashua South's season.
And a good season, Tom. A good season
they got
for
a
this Purple
season.
Panther team. Yeah.
What they'll tell you is they got a season.
Right.
That was the most important thing for them. And I was at their opener against Hollis Brookline, and they've come leaps and bounds since then. They lost that night. They ran out of gas because they were tired. They hadn't played a game.
They've played some good basketball though, Tom. Since that game, they ran out of gas. They've played some good hoop here.
Yep. They had to play Alvern 3 times, and that's a spunky Alvern team.
Sure
in the
is.
image of their coach, Frank Georginas, and they play tough. And South beat them not once, not twice, but 3 times in 8 days. That's not easy to do.
No, it is not. And Winnicott when it kind of did it to Exeter, right? When Exeter found that out the hard way last night in the boys' side.
Right, exactly.
Bowen will pull things back, find Lynch, back to Bowen. They'll whip it around the perimeter as Molly Smith will get it out to Lynch.
This is the depth that Guertin wants to see.
And good reach in there, good quick hands by Ariana Murray. Possession will stay with the Cardinals. As checking back in is Maya Ryu, and she will give Morgan Gillis a break. This is a senior-laden team, and we'll go over who those young ladies are in just a moment.
Well,
Ball inbounded there to Lynch.
Ariana Murray, Maya Rio.
From the outside, nothing
Juliana
there.
Martin, player with the ball. DeRusha, I believe, is a senior.
DeRusha's a sophomore.
Oh, she's a sophomore.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Softball's her game. That's
Right.
that's what I know.
Yeah, it looks like, Tom, it's Escribino, number 10.
Yep.
Maya Ryu, as you mentioned. Ariana Murray, you mentioned. Juliana Martin, you mentioned. And
Obanello. Yep.
Obanello. So.
And they've all come leaps and bounds in the
No
last
doubt.
3 years.
Got to like what Coach John Bourgeois has done here with this team and his coaching staff.
Yeah, now the hard work begins.
What a move there by Hadara Ochang.
That's a nice move. And she's got length too, and that length helped her scoop that ball beyond the defense.
And she was
and throw it
battling
up.
the injury bug earlier in the year, Tom, with a shoulder. And,
Yeah, she hasn't played much at all this year, has she?
But she will provide valuable minutes, and she has some height, as you can see, and
Oh,
she does
yes.
good work on the glass. As
Yep.
checking in is Erin Morris for the Cardinals. Hitting the second of two is Ochang. 60-24. Another near turnover. South will keep possession. Got to get it in before the 5 count. Had Obanello on the body position. Ball gets stolen there. Back the other way comes Morris. And that'll get knocked out of bounds. And
I think the difference is you're going to see Guertin's bench and reserves, and I think for South, seniors will stay on the floor as long as possible, and John Bourgeois will probably take them off in a group.
Obanello now working on the perimeter against Ochang. She'll step back and fire. And did she call glass? If so, give her 6 points.
No kidding, huh? Exactly.
Obanello launching
A
from
great
Hollis
shot.
and knocks it in off the backboard. And she's got 13, I believe, 13 points here in this one, Tom. Of course, unofficial scoreboard. First quarter, it is Bedford with an 11-3 lead over Manchester Memorial. So Bedford, the other team that's being talked about here in the state.
A little bit of a down year for Memorial. Not quite as invincible or as potent as they have been, I don't think.
Right. And again, they're playing Bedford. So a lot of people think Bedford is one of the best all-around teams in terms of top to bottom.
This people right here.
Yeah, that was you that wrote that?
No, I didn't. But I just think that that's the case. I mean, I really think that when Guertin goes up against them, it will be sophomores against seniors because they've got a couple of players that want to win a title before they walk out of there.
But I'm going to say this about that, Tom, to steal a great line from my friend BJ Bottomley. I'm going to say this about that.
Yeah.
The Guertin Bigs have come a long way since that first game. And I'm talking about your Bowens, your Wheelers, the girls that can give Stack a break, the Ochangs, who was not in that game.
No.
They can provide some depth and give Stack a break if it gets to that point. A lot of basketball to be played here as number 5, Erin Morris, knocks one down from the outside.
I guarantee you, in that game, Stack's not going to get too many breaks because they need her out there.
They do, but what I'm saying is she might not have to play defense the entire time against the 6 footer.
I just think that Bedford inside is really strong, and they're going to need Stack to play defense most of the time. They're going to need Stack to stay out of foul trouble.
There was a nice make there by Nashua South, and they'll get called for the foul.
That was the first time I had seen a New Hampshire team basically take Guertin to school in the first half of a game. And that was because they did not have the inside play to match Bedford because Stack was on the bench and so was McDonald. You know, and I think that was big. Now, look, I don't know what's changed since then.
Well,
you know, I know that Guertin's got the depth. They've got more players to throw out there in terms of 5 fouls and to play defense and everything else. But it is going to be a very tough game for both teams.
Right.
You know, and it's always tough. You know, I'll give you an example. We saw it last night. We saw a Bishop Guertin team that they let a North team off the hook. Right. And boys.
Right.
And what do? They just said, we're going to come right at you. It's not going to happen
It's
a
going to
second
be
time.
different. But they're different teams than they were.
Right.
You know, they're both different.
Right.
They're both
but
different.
But the mentality won't be. Bedford will have that mentality coming in. You can guarantee that.
Sounds like we may have a friendly wager, Tom, coming up
in
the near future. We'll see.
I'm not saying they can win. I'm just saying.
No, I hear you.
It's going to be a really tight game.
I don't disagree.
Because if you had bet me, I would have bet the farm at halftime of that game that Guertin was going to see their in-state streak snapped, and I have to find out what that streak is. I got to go back and do the math.
I think Brad knows if he could tell you. He told me what the home streak was at one point, so I'm sure he knows the.
You know, but the in-state streak, because they've lost some games to out-of-state teams. You know,
Murray misses both.
They lost last year to a Franklin team. It was just a great game to watch.
Sullivan, a pretty bounce pass, and look who's back in the game. It's Madeline Maloney. Good to see her back in. She goes up and is fouled, and she'll be rewarded with 2 free throws.
John Bourgeois is going to miss these seniors, I'll tell you.
No question.
But his work begins next year because this is when you know, I mean, look, you don't recruit in public high school. But he came into a team that had a lot of talent, you know, some talented players when he took over a couple of years ago.
Right.
That he knew who his players were going to be.
Sure.
All right, now he's got to figure out who his players are going to be once this group leaves.
Right. Maloney misses both free throw attempts. South with the rebound comes back the other way. DeRusha will drive on the baseline. A nice bounce pass in there and a good look from DeRusha to Ariana Murray. Murray is fouled going up for it.
Murray and Rio, I believe, I think they are going to Keene next year.
Knocks down the first pretty shot there for Ariana Murray. We'll try to get another score from Keene if we can. Murray knocks down the second, so 50% on the day. 2 out of 4 from Murray. As Maloney comes back the other way, they dish it in. Chang with a nice move on the baseline and cleans it up. And that's what I'm talking about, Tom.
That's a lot of quickness.
Dara Ocheng was not around the first part of this season.
That is a lot of quickness.
And she plays hungry. A nice backdoor cut to DeRusha. Couldn't finish it. And they're going to say a foul on the floor against BG. So the Panthers will keep possession.
This is it. This is the moment where these seniors are walking off the floor.
And they're getting a nice round of applause from the fans in the stands here. Also from the Bishop Guertin bench.
They sure are, because that's a good group of seniors that they've had there.
Kudos to those young ladies.
They did a great job over the last couple of years. They won 2 tournament games, one last year with an upset at Central, and this year they won at home against a tough Alvin team. So they accomplished it's the best that South basketball has seen I think since the split. I think these are 2 of this was the best group of seniors that they've had.
A nice make there by Morgan Gillis as Bailey Carroll and Morgan Preston both had opportunities. The first one coming off the initial feed from DeRusha. So some good work done here by the Purple Panthers on the floor. Ocheng will get it out to the only senior on the BG roster. That's Charlotte Sullivan. We had a chance again to speak with her early in the year.
And that'll do it.
And that's going to do it here, Tom King, from the campus of Bishop Guertin High School, where the Nashua South Panthers get doubled up. Your final, a 66-33 victory, and it looks, for all intents and purposes, like this Bishop Guertin Cardinal team is dialed in for the foreseeable future. We will see who they play this Sunday upcoming. The game will be here on the campus of Bishop Guertin High School.
Looks like 45-31.
And it looks like 45-31. The Nashua North Titans are going to defeat the Keene Blackbirds on their home court. So it looks like Nashua North will be visiting the Nest here in this coming Sunday. And it should be a good one. BG beating Nashua North here back on February 26th. And turnovers, again, with a story of that game, as North cannot afford to turn the ball over like they did if they want to stay in this one. Hats off to Coach Bourgeois and his staff and his team. The Nashua South Purple Panthers go down today 66-33. And we have a young lady coming over here who we have been talking about for the better part of the year. Maddie Bowen, number 34. Maddie, get those headphones on. Nice to see you, Maddie. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I am doing well, young lady. I want to first of all say congratulations. A huge win for you guys on your home floor. Is that the way you wanted to start off this postseason?
Yeah, we wanted to start off strong, and I think we did that tonight. Great team effort, so it was really fun.
And it's always fun when you play good basketball tournament time. So, Maddie, what we have here is we call this deck of cards. We're going to ask you a series of questions. I'm sure your teammates have told you, and then we're going to do a little rapid fire at the end that might not have anything to do with basketball. But I have to ask you, the 34 that you wear, is that in honor of somebody maybe that we know?
So it wasn't originally in honor of somebody, but when I used to play back in middle school, I used to wear 10 for my AAU team and 24 for my travel team, so I kind of think of it as both of those teams coming together for high school.
There you go. Good stuff. All right, so here we go. That was not one of the questions. I just had to ask. So the first question I have is, everybody on your team has a role. I mean, certainly there are no necessarily any superstars on the team, but everybody has to be a superstar within their role. What do you view your role as, Maddie?
So I usually don't start, and I come off the bench, so my role is usually picking the girls up when we need a little pickup and getting rebounds primarily, and just coming in, staying strong, being a good defender, and just keeping the team atmosphere good.
Well, you've checked off all those boxes, no question about that. So the playoffs have started, and here we are. You guys are going to play Nashua North on this court on Sunday. We just found out that Nashua North beat Keene High School. Is there a different approach for you in the playoffs than there was in the regular season, or would you say it's the same, or is there more intensity? How do you categorize that?
So it's a lot like the regular season, but this time we like to think of it as our second season, because any game, it could go any way, and we don't want to go home. So just playing like we're never going to stop and give it all, and then we'll see what happens at the end of the game.
I've seen some teams with some great talent not always have the best results. How has your team been able to avoid those kinds of pitfalls, especially given all the talent you have? How have you been able to maintain such a high standard of play?
We always try to play as a team, and I think that's like really proven strong. We don't try to go one-on-one and we just try to be a team, stay in that team atmosphere, and just playing like that keeps us strong throughout the entire season and even into the postseason.
Maddie, I want to make sure we get you some camera time, so just kind of turn your body halfway around and give a little wave there to the highlight guy, Steve Cody up there. Okay, so the ultimate goal, Maddie, for this year's team, what is the ultimate goal? We know it's one game at a time. We got to take one quarter time, but really, me and you talking here, what's the ultimate goal for this team?
It is really one game at a time, but we always love just to go in for that championship. So I guess that's the end goal, but just playing it one game at a time and giving our best every game.
That's it. That's the answer. I would expect no other answer than that from Coach Craig's kids. Class all the way. All right, were you ready for these rapid fire questions? All
Yes,
right,
I am.
Here we go. Okay, your favorite class in school?
Probably lit.
Okay, lit. Okay, very good. Your favorite food?
Watermelon.
Watermelon, very good. A summer favorite, no question about that. A special talent that you have that someone might not know about?
I really like art, so I guess painting.
Painting, very good. Wow, very good. Your favorite movie?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'd have to go with any Disney classic, anything like that, High School Musical, something like that.
Okay, excellent. Is there a favorite pregame hype song that you like to sing?
Our first song that we come out to, The Show Goes On, that has to be a personal favorite of
I
mine.
like that one as well. When that plays, I find myself dancing up here a little bit. I like that too. All right, who's your favorite live stream broadcaster?
Oh gosh, all you guys.
Yeah, see that. So we are here live with the highlight guys, Steve and Deb Cody, Nashua ETV, Jason Roby, and of course, our favorite number 34 here in the gym, Maddie Bowen. Maddie, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll see you here on Sunday. Get some rest. A tough Nashua North team coming in here. I know you guys will be ready.
Thank you.
Congratulations. All right, that is Maddie Bowen talking to us here on Nashua ETV. A 66-33 victory for the Bishop Guertin Cardinals. They will square off against the Nashua North Titans here Sunday. Pete, do we have a time for that one? Pete's not sure. All right, very well done. Our executive producer is Pete Johnson. I want to, for Tom King, for the highlight guy, Steve and Deb Cody, our executive producer, Pete Johnson. I'm Jason Roby signing off. We'll see you at some point on Sunday. Take care, everybody.